Hey guys, welcome to Brotherhood Forged.
I'm Joey, and hanging with me is my buddy Paul.
We're just two normal guys following Jesus and trying to lead our families well.
We started this to build a place for real talk, real growth, and real brotherhood.
If you're about faith, leadership, and showing up when it's tough, you're in the right spot. If you like what you hear, hit the share button or leave a review. It helps way more than you know.
Let's get into it. Here we go, folks. Episode 17. As you can see, there's a new addition in Paul's lovely lap, rocking and feeding the new baby. Paul, how you doing?
We're good, man. This is actually, if you're watching or listening, you don't know this, but we tried this a little bit ago, and then he had a blowout. So then we waited till he got changed, brought him back down, and here's take two.
Baby Theodore is a rootin' tootin' machine. You might get to hear a little bit of that on the podcast tonight, but what a blessing, man. What a blessing.
You know what's cool too, as we did it, so we had thought Friday night when we recorded with what would air Monday, the next morning we thought that was when he was going to arrive, and we were there. They actually bumped us around a little bit, so they called us at 5 and they said, hey, instead of coming at 7:30, I need you to come on Monday instead. Yeah. So Amber was like obviously upset because that's 2 more days we had to go. Then they called back, like, actually, we'll get you in today at 11. So then we got there at 11, and things were going smooth, but little man decided he didn't want to come out yet. So he waited until 1 a.m. that night, the next morning, which actually was kind of cool because Jameson, my nephew, it's his birthday, and he was hoping to have a birthday buddy. So he got his wish, he got a birthday buddy. But unfortunately for us, that meant we had to stay 24 more hours. So we were in the hospital till Monday afternoon, and we're really coming to a tight time frame recording this one to get this one out. But it was just cool to have all that.
Yeah.
As we were going through the process, like the time frames and everything.
Yeah. Well worth it. It's right now 9:12 p.m. on Tuesday. We post at midnight, so we are doing this podcast. Definitely our tightest time frame, but if it doesn't get out just on time, it's not a big deal. But I'll stay up and tighten it up when we're done, but we don't plan on any edits on this one. That's the goal. And the more we do, the better we are getting at it. So we had talked about doing God's timing, but both of us, Paul and I both, we just felt inclined to go in a different direction. So we're going to go with 5 lessons every man should hear. I think you're going to enjoy this. About 5 episodes of kind of personal stuff, Paul and I, between the 2 shorts and then our lives. And we talked about fatherhood. So we're going to go back to hopefully things that guys might need to hear, maybe put some tools in your toolbox.
More hands-on stuff, man, which I'm excited to get it out there because it's one of those things where a lot of it's not like, I've said this before, it's not like earth-shattering, groundbreaking stuff, but it's just stuff that you might need to hear a different way or hear not really for the first time, but in a different perspective too, that has really helped us along our journey too. So it's one of those things where as we've tried to become the best versions of ourselves, this is some stuff that's really helped us, and it continues to help us as we keep pushing ourselves out of our comfort zone and keep trying to get better.
Yeah.
There's a good burp. Might have heard that one.
That's good. As we said, we're not trying to be Jordan Peterson. We are PB&J. I'm going to start us off with a prayer while you're getting the burp on, Paul, and then we'll jump into it. Father, thank you for this moment, and thank you for every man and woman listening. Thank you for grace that meets us in a mess and calls us higher. We ask you to move through this conversation, Lord. Help us with the presence. Lead with integrity and face the hard things we often avoid. Let our homes be our first ministry and remind us that our calling doesn't need permission. Shape us into men and women who don't just talk about legacy, but Paul and I, we live it daily. We give you this time. We use it for your glory. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Prayer, man.
All right.
Let's kick it off. So the first one of the 5, your presence matters more than your performance. What are your thoughts on that one?
Let's be honest. There was a lot of times in my marriage, in my life, that I was physically present. I was physically in the room, that I wasn't just there. I can remember many times since technology has been a thing, so it's been the last 10 years or so, where I would scroll through my phone. Sometimes we would be out to dinner, or we'd be whatever. Sometimes she would talk to me, or someone else would talk to me, and I just didn't even hear them. My ears were there. It was taking it in, but it was just bouncing back off. Yeah. It wasn't because, you didn't care. I was just being selfish.
I can relate to that a lot too, man. I think a lot of people can. I think I talked about it. It's hard to remember what I talk about in here, what we talk about in our coaching group. The one thing that really stuck out to me was that when you talked about the phone thing of my presence, Amber had gotten on me. It was on here. I talked about it. She had gotten on me about being on my phone too much. And a lot of it, like you can justify it for whatever things I may be doing, working on this podcast, talking to friends, whatever it is. But there are times too where I'm like mindlessly scrolling through social media. So as we worked on me not being on my phone more, it wasn't that I was on it all day or like different things like that. It was that I was on it during the crucial times to be present, like not dinner time necessarily. I was good at that one because that one stuck out to me. But bedtime, I didn't realize the impact that that one had on her. So it's like as we go through this and as we audit certain things, it's like find out what really matters because it might be you might miss the actual intent of it. So like she says, don't be on your phone as much. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm not on my phone as much, but I'm still on during bedtime, and that's the time when she doesn't want me to be on it. So it's trying to figure out exactly what you're trying to be. If you're trying to be more present, figure out how and when you can be more present too. So yeah, I'm glad you brought that one up because I think especially with technology and the way things are today, that can be super hard to be aware of.
Yeah, and I challenge kind of self-evaluate, if that might be a double word, I don't know. Really evaluate yourself and be open to critique and criticism. You might just learn something. I'd say highly likely you will. Also, Paul, I just thought being in the room was enough. I learned that, what Bobby really needed was not just me to being in the room, because if I wasn't present, it was pointless. It actually maybe did more harm than good.
I can relate to that, man, because it's one thing of like if you're physically there, okay, you're physically there, but you're not present. Your personality's not there. Your conversations aren't there. You're not being thought provoking. You're not talking. It's like, so like you said, it could actually be worse to actually go through that than to physically be or to actually not be there because in a way you're really not there. You just think you are because physically you are. So what came to mind for me, man, is I've built a lot throughout my career and as we build this podcast and the people around us, the guys that we work with and to help us, like the community that we built. But what I think about with this is none of that really matters if my wife and my kids feel unseen or don't feel supported by me. They won't remember how hard I've worked on stuff. They'll remember if I was with them, if I talked to them, if I saw them, if I heard them. So that's the stuff that really matters to me. So it's like, as we go through this audit, how you're doing things. And I know different careers require different timeframes and stuff like that. But if you're not present for your kids, if you're not present for your wife and you're just providing, I think you're doing yourself and your family a disservice.
Like you said, it always keeps going back to the Maya Angelou quote that we talk about all the time. Even about how much money you make, all those experiences, all those things, it doesn't matter if you're not present, not really like part of their lives.
Those are things that the impact that you can have. And I think this comes up later too, is we talked about this before, is your kids will never, they'll figure you out one time. They'll have a story to tell of what you did. And if you just provided a lot of money for them, it's not really the story I want them to know. I want them to know there's way more to dad than what he does for work.
That's great. Some tactical moves for if you're struggling with this, guys, gals, whatever it is. For one, as we talked about, put that phone down. Put it down. At least, if you're using it a lot, at least pick one time, maybe during dinner. Put it down. As Paul said, if you're in bed and you're on your phone, you're probably not locked in with your wife. Anything you got, Paul? Any kind of tactical moves?
And the phone down, man, it's not just like, don't have it down, just sit there staring at the wall. Engage, be present, make conversation, make eye contact, listen to the people in your life when they talk to you about not just how you are there and how you listen, but like physically listen, like with your eyes, with your nonverbal stuff. That's huge. Like if you and I sat here and I've had a conversation and I didn't look at you or I didn't show any emotion, like you'd probably be like, dude, I feel like I'm talking to a wall. Like there's not a phone in your hand, but you're still not there. So like what's going on with it? So that's where a lot of the secondary communication stuff can come into play and just be engaged. Put the phone down, that's the distraction, but the next step is to be engaged.
I'd say even if it's 15 minutes, spend 15 minutes, just turn the TV off, put your phones down, spend 15 minutes with your kids, with your wife, with those you care about, whoever they may be, at least 15 minutes a day. That's not a lot, but I guarantee it's a great start.
100%, man. I love that one. And it's something that's so easy that you can forget about it. So I actually like to try to schedule it in and try to put it as a block for my day. And as I go through like different kind of challenges for myself, like a lot of people like to do 75 hard, but one thing I like to do is beyond just the 75 hard stuff, it's like what really means something to you and moves the needle for you. And that intentional time with my kids and my wife is something that means a lot to me. So I tried to build that in as a daily non-negotiable.
Yeah, Paul is a rock star. You guys pay attention. If you're not watching this on YouTube, you're missing the whole experience. I will tell you that. So I would suggest this episode may go viral on YouTube because Paul's rocking it between baby burping. Like he said, he had a blowout up the back a little bit earlier before we started recording. Um, who's behind you, Brez? Yeah, Breslin's
Yeah,
behind you.
Bress is back here. Say hi, Bress.
That's awesome. What's up, girl?
Easy.
Ask yourself on that first topic, are you present in this moment or are you just physically here?
Mhm.
I know I've struggled with that throughout my marriage, throughout my life, but I'm very cognizant of it now. Still not perfect, but it's something I do work on daily.
And, the last piece of that too, man, is give yourself grace, because I think that's one thing. As I was trying to get better at being on my phone, I was really hard on myself. And I think that if you start to audit yourself in these ways, not everyone's as willing to do that. So it's like, give yourself grace while you go through it, because you're challenging yourself to grow and to be more present and to be the best version of yourself for your family. That can be uncomfortable. And there can be times where you're like, man, I feel like such an idiot because I missed these ideas. I missed these time frames. Like all these different things I thought to myself too. Like I've missed these opportunities because I was on my phone. Beat yourself up about it. Give yourself grace and then look for that next opportunity to improve, because that's how you get better. If you continue to get down on yourself, you're not going to get better. So it's like open-minded, grace, non-defensiveness, and just keep trying. That's all you can do.
On to number 2, you can't lead others if you don't lead yourself. What you got for that one, Paul?
100%, dude. You see it. Like I'm working like overtime on this one between the baby and Brez and everything going on. So it's like, I know this one. Amber and I actually joked about this for a while. If I'm not taking care of myself, whether through my workouts or my nutrition, that boils over where my patience is a little more tested. So I know that if I'm not rooted spiritually, mentally, physically, everything else can tend to fall apart. My patience is more thin. I react more than I respond. Things slip off. So for me, leadership really starts in the quiet hours. In the morning where I'm by myself, now it's a little more difficult because he'll be with me, but he's pretty chill. So I can still get my alone time in, my thought processing time in. It's like I have to physically train. I have to do something for my body to get myself challenged. It's like understanding myself and knowing that doing those things sets me up the best to lead my family, but I can't lead them until I first learn to lead myself.
I can definitely relate. And right now I've not been on point on my morning discipline, and I feel it all day long. I just kind of got away from it over the last couple months. And so I haven't led myself in a great way in that area. But there are areas that I've definitely stepped up. And one of those areas, I've had to really curb and change my financial habits. I have in the past just not had any real good discipline on a financial level, just impulse spending. Just a little story. We order Farmer's Dog, which is a frozen dog food, and it's fairly expensive. I typed into chat exactly what I feed my dog and how much I'm spending and said, hey, can I make this myself? It spit out a recipe. I would save 75% of what I was spending if I made it myself.
Wow.
And it tells you exactly what to buy, how to cook it. There's just one area, but I've also said, hey, I'm going to stop drinking Starbucks. I don't drink it every day, but I drink that kind of stuff too much. Just areas, and I'm going to start tracking my spending. But that's one area that I haven't led real well. But I am good with journaling, with my prayer, my leadership books. I haven't done so well on that morning thing.
That's one that we're actually backstory or side note story, reveal the curtain a little bit. We're working on doing something where kind of like a habit tracker accountability thing for us and the people in the community, just to kind of continue to grow and impact each other in a way that we can hold each other accountable. Because like I've talked about with you, man, if you and I were to say we're going to schedule a call to do a podcast at 5 a.m. or I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. to work out, there's times where I'll hit that snooze button on myself, hit that snooze button on you. So it's like, how do you build accountability throughout the community that you have? And that's just it. You bring people into it, because like I said, I'm way more likely to snooze on myself than I would be if you and I had a scheduled time where we were going to meet and wake up early for that.
I'm exactly the same, and I think most people are. And that's something I definitely need to work on. So I was listening to probably a podcast, maybe it's an audio book, and they talked about, would you cancel a meeting with your favorite celebrity, with Jesus Christ, with the president of the United States, depending on which side you're on, whatever? And the answer would most likely be no. So why the most important person to you, I mean, besides God, of course, Why do you let yourself down so often?
Hmm.
And it was just like, well, just a real kick in the pants. I was like, something to really think about. And I probably butchered it the way I translated that, but I think you get the point.
Oh, you definitely delivered it. I think it's the same thing too, that we wouldn't talk to people the way we talk to ourselves. And that's like, it's hard because I think that whenever we're trying to do something or change something or something else gets thrown into our life or on a plate, we won't sacrifice in other areas where we'll sacrifice ourselves and treating ourselves respectfully or taking care of ourselves. Like, I think there's certain things like financially too. If you talk about financial stuff, if you guys were like, hey, or us, if we want to cut back on money, I would cut back on the supplements I take, protein or my workout stuff, whatever it is, before I would take away something from my kids. But I'm not saying that you have to do that. I'm just saying like how often do we constantly say that we won't take care of ourselves the same way that we preach to other people to take care of themselves too. So really just looking in the mirror and being completely honest with yourself and saying, am I treating myself the way that I would treat one of my closest friends? Am I talking to myself the way that I would build up one of my closest friends? More often than not, that's not the case.
Yeah. So some tactical moves in that area. I'll give one, Paul, and you give what's yours. One would be definitely stay consistent with your personal habits. Yes, I've fallen short on that one lately, but I'm well aware of it. But I know when I do stay consistent and disciplined, the rest just falls in place. That'd be number
Yep.
one for me.
Well, I love that one too, man, because too often I find myself choosing comfort over discipline. And that's one of those things too. If you choose discipline more often than not, you'll get the answer you're looking for. And it may not be easy. It may not be the thing you want to do at 4 or 5 a.m., but it's the thing that you told yourself would. So you got to follow through with it.
I was going to say the most disciplined area of my life is what we're doing right now. Right now, being honest, because I don't ever miss it. We're going to make it, we're going to have a call, we're going to do a recording. It's priority. I'm going to make sure it happens. If it's something needs edited, it's going to happen. This is obviously very important to me, but I need to prioritize other things as well a little bit better.
Yeah. And today's our episode priority is get this out there the best of our ability and get Joey to bed because
I
it's
got to work
9:30
tomorrow.
now. So
I got to work tomorrow.
I think the biggest thing too is find what works for you. Stay consistent with it. Fill your mind with the right wisdom. Fill your mind with the right stuff. Build the right habits. And that could be trial and error. That could be different things that work for different people. But find what works for you and find the way that sets you up the best for your day to show up the best way, the best version of yourself, and stick to that. Back to the discipline that you said. It's be consistent with that.
Yeah. So ask yourself, guys and gals, would I follow the person I'm being today? That's a real simple question. And sometimes for me, the answer is no. So we can all make that a yes.
That's a great one. As I was prepping this content, I think I saw this come up later, but I can't remember. For parents out there, especially as I hold little Theo here in my arms, what I'm doing throughout the day is that the example I want to set for him? Like you said, would I follow the version of myself today? But would I want him to follow the version of myself today? Would I want him to grow up and do the things that I do? Would I take care of himself the way that I sometimes don't take care of myself? Like I would want him to respect the habits and the goals that he set for himself. So I have to model that. So it's one of those things that can be a real deeper question, but be pretty impactful too.
What's the next one?
Avoiding pain. Oh, that's a good burp. I don't know if that goes through or not, but it was there in case anybody heard it.
We're keeping that.
Avoiding pain creates more of it. This is back to that comfort over discipline type thing, man. You may think that it feels good in the moment, but you're selling yourself up for resentment and letting yourself down. So that's going to cause you more pain later on.
We could probably get through this one pretty quick. Avoiding pain, avoiding the discipline, avoiding working out, avoiding eating right, those types of things. If I avoid those things, what's it going to cause? If I don't work out, I'm going to get heavy, heart disease, diabetes, all those things run in my family. Cancer again, eating right's the same thing. That's just what comes to mind for me.
Same, dude. And then to build off that too, it's like the pain of like a hard thing. If you avoid that pain, that's a different part of it. Like we're talking about letting yourself down as far as the habits and discipline goes, but like the pain of a loss or rejection throughout your life, like that stuff will teach you if you allow it to. I'm not saying it makes it better, but it's one of those things where like if you avoid it and you like I did when I talked about in the last episode where I was really in a funk of a place when we lost that first baby. Like I allowed it to carry over in all areas of my life because I wasn't addressing it. It just slowly started eating away at like my habits and my discipline, the way I showed up for people, the way I showed up for Amber, and I was mindlessly numb and mindlessly scrolling through my phone at times where like I just didn't feel like doing anything else. And I didn't really understand why until I allowed myself to look into the pain that I'd felt and really work through that, because I think so often we don't work through it. We think that we'll ignore it and push it away, but then it comes back even worse.
How did you work through it?
People around me,
Yeah.
I had to be open. I had to be honest. And the first part of it was I had to address the fact that it bothered me way more than I thought it did. Like I knew it was really hard. I knew it was affecting me, but I didn't realize it until I brought some people, yourself, Ed, Gavin, Percy, my family, Amber, the people around me, until I started talking more about it. And like, it really started to click. And it was like you, Ed, I think there was someone else too that was like, hey man, I think Damon actually said it too. He said, you have a lot going on right now. And I think that instead of addressing it and really allowing yourself to work through it, you're just putting more on your plate that you're not giving yourself all to either. So it's just distracting ourselves, distracting the pain away. And that's easy to do. And I think a lot of us do that. I did it so many times in my life, but it's so much better to actually allow yourself to process it and allow people around you to help you process it.
Completely agree. When, the cancer, come back to that a lot. But when I went through it, it is so easy just to not let anybody in. And that's kind of where I went at first. I didn't want to let anybody in, even my wife at first. But when I learned to lean in on other people that cared about me, it became so much easier to deal with. But hiding, and not, I think most people do try to deal with it on their own. But for me, it's a faith thing, which I talk about all the time, right? So kind of this for me, cancer forced me to cancer forced me to face my mortality. I always knew it, but I realized, you know what? I'm not promised tomorrow. And for the most part, meaning I'm not perfect every day, never am, but it changed how I speak, how I love, how I lead. But the best thing that happened, I would never take it back. I would never take the cancer back. It really helped me in my faith.
Yeah.
It really made my relationship with Jesus much stronger. So, although I tried to avoid it, man, it certainly enhanced my life. And I wouldn't trade it. I wouldn't take it back.
Right. Yeah, it's one of those things where the pains that we go through, they don't have to break us. They can help build us.
Absolutely.
If we allow it, and if we shine that light on it and we address it, we talk about it and allow people to help us get through it. The other thing too, man, is one thing I've learned with the coaching stuff we do and the guys that we work with is there are so many guys that have gone through similar stuff, or just people in general in our communities and our families and our friends that have gone through similar stuff. And what helped them get through that can help get us through it. And they may be waiting for the opportunity for you to open up, to give back and help out, because someone probably helped them out. And it's one of those things where it's like the only way to fully, I feel like, thank someone for helping you through that is to help that next person. So it's kind of a way of like giving it more justice or giving it more recognition. So don't be afraid to give people in your lives the opportunity to help you through stuff, because you never know what they might have gone through, what they may have learned that could be the right thing for you.
Let your wounds be a message, not a weight, because anybody that's been through anything, and that's every single one of us, you have something to share from the things that I've been through, just different than other people. But I feel an obligation, but I want to share those stories. I want to share those victories. I want to share those hard times and how I got through them. And I think I'm supposed to. I think we're supposed to do that.
I think so too, man. I think that's one of those things for the tactical move there is let that be a message, because you never know who you might help with it. But also talk to a mentor, because the same person, or talk to a mentor, a close person. But for me, the biggest thing too was write down the pain you're avoiding, because that's one of those things where you talked about, I think we're supposed to share those things to help people around us. If you figure out what pain you're avoiding, you write that down, you may not realize the impact that can have around other people around you, because they may be avoiding similar pain. And you could be that first person to take that step. The courage you had to take that first step can give them the courage to take their step.
I would suggest listeners, you ask yourself this: what pain am I still holding that God's asking me to hand over?
All right. So the next one we got is the people closest to you are your real legacy. And for me, this kind of ties into that first one as well. It's like success really means nothing if I'm missing the mark at home, where it's that is my legacy, is my marriage, is my children, is what I pass down to them, the story that they tell about me one day. I don't want to be just a provider. I want to be the hero that they need at different stages of their life. And the only way I'm going to do that is by combining all the stuff we talk about, leading myself when I need to before I can lead them, being present, and just being that voice for them that can help them get through whatever they're going through and help coach them and model for them the best that I can.
Without all the things you just mentioned, there is no success. People so often look at success and they think it's how much money you made, how many deals you close, how many houses you have, cars, whatever, all material things. But to me, success is, it's what you left behind. What are people remembering you for when you're gone? I agree with you, Paul.
100%, man.
I was just going to say 30 years ago, I felt like I looked like I was winning, but this is early in my marriage, but I was really losing where it mattered. I made that right, though. Today, I want my wife, I want my son to feel secure, seen, and supported. And I want my home to be, even though my son's 29, a place that I lead my wife and what my son sees and the people around me see with honor. That's what matters to me.
How often can we miss that though? Like if you think about the stuff that we've gone through throughout our process of when we were trying to develop and coach people, like core values, that really kind of refines things for you in a different way of like allowing you not to miss what's truly important.
Tactical moves on this one. I'd say let your family feel like they're your priority. That's a real good one to start with. And say no, just say no to things that steal peace from your home. What might that be?
Yeah.
It might be you spending too much time away. It could be a lot of things.
Real quick story of that one, man. What you say yes to also requires you to say no to something else. And when we were at First Forum for that first summit, we met at Sal Frisella talked to us, and he had talked about all the different things in life that he had the opportunity to do, which was like celebrity golf outings, all these different things. But he didn't do it because he wanted to be present at home. He wanted to be there for his family and for his children. And it got me thinking of all the different things that I do, whether it be basketball leagues or fantasy football, whatever it is. By saying yes to that, I'm also saying no to an opportunity with my kids. I'm not saying you need to say no to all these things in your life or hobbies that you have, but really evaluate and say, is this something that's as important to me as one-on-one time with my kid would be? Often it's not, but don't drop all your hobbies, right? Find a way to make it all work. But there could be some stuff that doesn't serve you any longer that you can get rid of.
That stings. For many years, I was really into shooting pool until I couldn't and playing a lot of golf. And too often that was a priority. I mean, I would be gone 3 nights a week, sometimes playing pool, golf 3 or 4 times a week. I'm not saying don't do those things, but be honest with yourself. Are you being selfish? I was being selfish. I can't speak for anyone else. I was being selfish. And now I honestly just don't want to do that nearly as much. I want to be home. I want to be where I'm needed.
Yeah, you're right. It's not about saying no to it all the time. It could be about cutting back and compromising to really make the best impact where you still get that time, you still get to fulfill that cup and that hobby that you have, also not maybe as often as you are, something like that, and cut back a little bit, see what's important to you. The biggest message is just audit it. And as you do that, find out the times that you can put back into your life with your family, with your kids, or maybe personal development stuff. Create weekly rhythms with your family, date nights, one-on-one time with your kids, family meals. Eric Wooten again, relation shots. I shared this one before. We talked about that relationship rhythm with your wife, where it's one date night a week, one executive type business meeting a week, where you talk about finances, bills, the things that had to happen, scheduling, and then 2 many connections throughout the week. So as you cut back on some things that aren't serving you, put some of those things back into your life and see where that can take you as well.
I'm going to have to watch this one again myself because there's some things I need to work on myself. So folks, ask yourself, would your family say they feel loved and led by you? Simple question. What's the answer? Only you know.
It might not be the answer that you want to hear, but that doesn't mean you can't improve on it. It's just a matter of figuring out if you're in the right place, doing the right stuff, or if not, get yourself there.
Are you willing to hear it? Question you'd ask yourself as well.
Number 5, you don't need permission to become who God made you to be. I have honored a lot of other people's visions for years and silenced myself at times to not make people feel uncomfortable and maybe held my voice back or the impact that I could have back. But as we step into this stuff, man, I feel like we're truly building something that we were born for. We don't need a title to lead. We don't need a title to have the impact that we can have. We don't need permission. We have a calling. And Brotherhood Forged, I feel like, is just the beginning of that for us. It's more than a podcast. It's a platform that God has prepared us throughout all the different things we've done, all the coaching we've done with men, our personal stories, different things throughout our career. Like this is just that next step for us to step into what we're called for and to really see the vision that was given to us and honor that and not necessarily feel like we have to honor someone else's vision in the same moment.
It's exciting. And we're not trying to
Mhm.
duplicate anyone else. We're not like trying to be anyone else. I say that all the time, but we really aren't. We're just being Paul and Joey and
Yep.
sharing what we know, what we learned. And I know me personally, I waited way too long. I thought I needed a sign, but I already had a story. And what is my story? It's not just the cancer. It's not just my marriage. It's everything. It's how I've learned. It's how I've grown up. It's how I've shown up. It's how I've failed. It's how I've won. It's everything. It's speaking life from pain, purpose from suffering. But I'm not waiting anymore. I'm following where I feel God has called me to. Lucky for me, Paul has a similar calling, and that's where we're at. But God already gave me the green light. He gave it to me a long time ago, but I'm just now seeing it. And the sky is the limit. 56 next month? No, this month. Ooh, it is July.
It's July. It's on my calendar.
I'm just getting started, folks.
Absolutely, man. I think the takeaway for this, the tactical step for this is the tactical move, I'm sorry, is take the step. Start a podcast, write that post, send that text message, whatever you feel like is a calling that you've waited on, you've hesitated for. There's no better time than right now.
I was scared to death to do any of those things. I remember the first time I recorded a Pain Cave video. Like I just thought about it and thought about it. I'm like, what are you doing? Just turn the camera on and talk. And that's kind of what got
Right.
me started a few months ago. Pain Cave's no longer because I've rebranding that part of me. But yeah, just the podcast, we just did it. We don't know what we're doing. We didn't know. We're getting better at it. I feel like we're pretty proficient now. And guess what? In a year, we're going to be amazing. Let obedience lead, not other people's opinion. But you got to start.
You got to take that step. Be bold enough to act without applause or without
Ooh.
permission.
Ooh, I love that.
That's one you don't need to see at the table if you create the table.
That's good. Ask yourself, what would I do if I stopped waiting for permission? All right, the Bible verse for tonight is 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 9, New Living Translation. For God saved us and called us to live a holy life. He did this not because we deserved it, because we don't deserve anything, but because that was his plan from before the beginning of time to show us his grace through Christ Jesus. I like that one.
That's a good one, man. It makes me think about the fact that I used to wait for the right time or the right title or someone's approval before I stepped into what I felt like I should step into.
I thought I needed, like you, someone to say, you're ready, but you're never ready before stepping into what God gave me. If God gave it to me, I don't need anyone's permission. Facing cancer erased all the excuses. It honestly made my calling just undeniable.
You talked about this earlier, man, where it made you face your mortality. That's something that obviously is incredibly dark and not something that we all want to do. But like, think about this is a David Goggins build off too, where he talked about being there on his deathbed and meeting the man that he was supposed to become. And think about all the things that you could have let down, the things that you didn't accomplish. Because what? Because of the fear of rejection, the fear of anxiety, the fear of people saying that you're not good enough. Like, does that really matter? Like, sure, there's a point. Like, we look at stuff too. We want to be better at this. We want people to listen to it because we think it can be impactful. But if we were to look at this situation 10 years from now and say, we didn't start this podcast because we were worried what people might say, we would be incredibly disappointed in ourselves and probably really let down by that. Like, it's a matter of, like, it's dark, right? To think about what you said about facing your mortality or think about what David said of all the things that you could have done, but you didn't because whatever reason it was, and ask yourself if that's really a valid reason.
It's dark, but it's a reality that we're all going to face. And having a relationship with Jesus, salvation, made that not so scary. Biggest scare for me, the thought of, dying, of course, would be leaving my family behind, leaving my son without a dad, my wife without a husband, sisters without a brother, et cetera, right? Mm-hmm. But if something does happen to me unexpectedly or whatever, I say celebrate. But if I'm still breathing, God's still building. And I firmly believe that he has something not just for me, but for everybody. Firmly believe that.
100%, man. As you say, celebrate. Give them something worth celebrating for, and look at things throughout life as the obedience and the discipline over overthinking it, or the purpose over permission. You don't need any of that stuff. If you're stepping into your truest, most authentic version of yourself, that's where the people around you will have something worth celebrating or a story worth telling. And that's the biggest thing I keep thinking about, man. As I go through all this stuff, is like I said, one day your kids will figure you out. What story do I want them to tell about me? What do I want them to be left with
Yeah.
because of what I did or didn't do? So it's one of those things that you really look out to the future and say, I won't be here one day and they're going to remember me. How do I want them to remember me?
So shared message to the listener. I think we each have a couple of points here. And my first one, probably my favorite one, would be God's calling doesn't expire. As long as you're breathing, but it does require you to start. Take a step.
Yeah, you don't have to earn permission. You don't have to earn the mission. You don't have to earn any of that stuff. Just walk it out.
Start the thing. Build the vision. Obey the nudge, because he's talking. Are you hearing it?
Theo's actually really talking. You're probably hearing that.
I hear Theo. I love it. Once again, I hope the YouTube video gets a lot of views because you get to see Baby Theo for the first time on video.
Man, he's keeping me on my toes. He's been moved around like 17 different times.
Dude,
he's finally kind of going to sleep.
I'm so impressed that we've made it 45 minutes almost. Naked as a jaybird.
Well, he's got a diaper on, so he doesn't blow up on me. But
that's good. That's good. After that accident earlier.
And the next piece, man, is this one you can speak on near and dearly, but it's not too late. You're never too broken. There's never a better time to start than right now.
I can't really explain, but I am so driven to, I don't even know what word I would say, make an impact. And I say it often, and I mean it's not about me, but just to make an impact on whoever needs encouraged. I don't like the word motivated. Encouraged to learn that they can do it, whatever the case may be. I feel like that's my mission.
Absolutely. Baby Theo had to sub out. He was going to get, I don't have any more bottle down here for him, so he had to go get what he needed. Let me just say how appreciative I am of this process for what Amber and all mothers go through and do for families, because my mom joked about this, and I think that she's right. She was joking this weekend as we were in labor. She texted this. If men had to experience what a contraction felt like, there'd be a lot less babies on this earth.
I've heard that.
And I'm not going to challenge that because I don't know how it feels, but I just see how it feels, and I can only imagine. And I think that she's right. There's some pretty tough dudes on this earth, but my goodness, man, moms, it's a different breed of tough right there.
I agree. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. They say it's like passing a kidney stone. I've not passed one of those either. I've had some pain with, my surgeries and stuff, but I don't want contractions, bud. I don't want to know. First to admit it. First to admit it.
Dude, I'm just so appreciative of Amber, and I think this is one of those things where this might be a little blunt, and I know we're getting kind of close on time, but for the guys out there, the husbands and the fathers, if you don't walk away from that experience appreciating your wife more than you did going into it, which you already should have quite a bit, you got to ask yourself some questions, man, because they give up a lot to build a family with us. And it's just like a sacrificial love that they go through for us. If we can't appreciate that and we can't do things for them to show that we appreciate that, you got to ask yourself some questions because, buddy, I don't think we could do it. So we got to appreciate them for doing it.
I'll give you an amen to that. All right. A final charge. Your words, your legacy. You wanna end it, Paul, for us?
This is one thing I said earlier, so near and dear to me, man. One day your children will tell the story of who you were. Our wives will remember how safe and seen we made them feel as we were by their sides. And the men we lead will rise because we chose to go first. Let's not just speak these lessons, let's live them. Let's really get intentional and ask ourselves, would we follow the version of ourselves that we are? Would we want our children to follow that version? And if not, great. Fix it and become proud of the person that you are and the work that you're going to do.
That's a good mic drop for episode 17. So we've made it 17 episodes after this one. I'm proud of that, Paul. I'm really excited. We're not quitting. We're going to keep on keeping on. And I just do want to remind people we don't get a lot of comments. We get feedback more from people that we know directly, but if you could put comments on the Facebook page or any of the platforms you listen on, we will respond, or send us an email, or on the link tree. All that's going to be in the description. So please do that. We're doing a newsletter. We have a couple of signups, but you got to go to Linktree and put your email address in there. So please do that if you're interested, because the podcast, like I've said before, is just the beginning.
I'm really proud of us. Episode 17 in, the fact that we just recorded this one on the very last night that we could have, and now you got some work to do for editing of it, but like that's just shows the commitment that we have to this and the commitment that we'll continue to have to this. So we definitely appreciate all the support and encouragement that we get. We keep getting surprised by the people that give us feedback, and some people that you may never thought would even listen to this, but it just means so much to us. So we encourage you guys to keep helping us build this, keep helping us fine-tooth comb this where we can, help us get better at this, and just know that we appreciate that more than you may know, and we're going to keep building this. The newsletter is the next step. Then we're going to look at kind of a daily challenge tracker type deal for some accountability, kind of a spoiler on that one. But we're going to keep building this. This is one of those things that as we get better, this helps us get better. So it's almost like a cycle of like, okay, what's the next step? What's the next thing? Who can we bring into this? Probably look at having some more guests on here. I know we're going to have Amber back on here. But we're committed to this, and we want to get as best. We want to be as best as we can. And that only happens from the encouragement and the support and the feedback that you guys have. So we appreciate that very much.
Amen to all that. And all I can say is be blessed, y'all. Have a good night.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening today. We don't take that for granted.
Your support matters. You're part of something much bigger, and we're thankful you're on this journey with us.
Stay strong, stay intentional, and know you're not walking this alone.
If this challenged you, please share the impact. Growth is better together.
We'll see you next time on Brotherhood Forged.